Welcome to the Deep Dive. So glad you're here with us. Today, we're taking a really fascinating journey into an ancient and incredibly significant practice, Ekadashi Vrat. This isn't just, a simple fast. It's a profound spiritual observance, and its roots stretch way back.
That's right. And for this deep dive, we've sourced detailed excerpts specifically on the significance and practice of Ekadashi Vrat. These passages give us a pretty comprehensive overview from its deep origins right through to how it's actually practiced.
Yeah, and our goal today is to really dig into this tradition. We want to unpack its core stories, explore the spiritual and, well, even the physical benefits, and understand the many different forms that this observance can take, and sort of walk through the practical guidance. Think of this as your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed on this powerful practice. So to really begin at the beginning, where do our sources say Ekadashi Vrat truly started? I'm curious, is there like a foundational tale behind it?
Oh, there absolutely is. A fascinating mythological origin. Our sources trace it back to Lord Vishnu. The story goes that Lord Vishnu took the avatar, the divine form, of Ekadashi Devi. And this was specifically to destroy Mo, which represents unrighteousness or delusion.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, this was in response to a powerful demon named Mur, who was really tormenting the gods. So Ekadashi Devi, born from Vishnu's own being, she battled and ultimately destroyed Mur.
Wow.
And Lord Vishnu, immensely pleased by her victory, declared that day a sacred date. He then promised that anyone who observed a fast on this specific day would achieve moksha.
Moksha, liberation, right?
Exactly, liberation from the cycle of birth and death.
That's a powerful foundational myth. So it's not just an arbitrary date then. It's born from a divine declaration with this huge promise. It really sets the stage. Do the sources mention any other interpretations or historical perspectives on its origin, or is this the main narrative?
This specific mythological account is definitely the predominant origin story detailed in the sources we looked at. It really emphasizes that divine proclamation and the promise of moksha. It anchors the practice in a very profound spiritual context right from the start.
That makes a lot of sense. So moving into the core of it then, what do our sources say are the fundamental reasons people undertake this observance today? Like, what are the career motivations for observing Ekadashi Vrat now?
Well, the sources outline several primary purposes. Fundamentally, it's about gaining the grace of Lord Vishnu. That's central. It's also deeply observed for liberation from sins and the purification of the soul.
Purification of, yeah.
And a significant aspect is exercising control over one's mind, speech, and senses. It's a powerful form of self-discipline. Ultimately, it's pursued to attain moksha, accumulate spiritual merit, and that leads to mental peace and overall spiritual development. What's truly insightful here, I think, is how the practice aims for both inner purification and this deep connection to divine grace. It's not just an external ritual, it's really a holistic approach to spiritual growth.
Beyond those spiritual layers, what else do our sources reveal? I hear there are even some, well, pretty fascinating practical or physical benefits mentioned too. What do the sources tell us about those? And how are they traditionally understood to sort of manifest?
They absolutely do mention those, yeah. Beyond the spiritual purification, the practice is said to help in the detoxification of the body, expelling toxins.
Interesting, like a physical cleanse.
Kind of, yeah. Traditionally, it's seen not just as physical cleansing, but as clearing the physical vessel to, make space for deeper spiritual purification. It's also believed to increase spiritual strength and self-control, which clearly has mental and emotional wellness aspects too. From a religious perspective, it's also said to lead to the destruction of sins. And for those with specific desires, it's believed observing it can help fulfill them through the grace of Lord Vishnu. And finally, observing it is said to increase peace, happiness, and just, positive energy within the home.
It is a remarkable blend, isn't it? Connecting deep spiritual practice with what we might now call wellness aspects.
Yeah.
It almost aligns with modern interests in holistic well-being. It's interesting how the sources present both spiritual and physical benefits side by side. Do they imply one is more significant than the other, or is it really presented as a holistic package?
They really present them as intertwined. The spiritual purpose is definitely primary, but the physical benefits are seen as natural outcomes of adhering to such a disciplined and pure practice. It's definitely presented as a holistic package where the physical act aids the spiritual journey.
That makes sense. With such a rich history and purpose, it seems logical that this observance isn't a one-size-fits-all practice, right? How do our sources describe the different forms of Ekadashi?
You're absolutely right. It's not uniform. The sources tell us there are 24 Ekadashis in a normal year, or 26 in a leap year.
24 or 26, wow.
Yeah. And each often carries a unique significance or purpose. For instance, Nirjala Ekadashi. That one's known as the most difficult because it's observed completely without water.
No water at all.
None. And because of that difficulty, it's believed to grant the most merit. Then you have Kamada Ekadashi, which is observed specifically for the fulfillment of desires. Padmini Ekadashi is quite rare. It only occurs during Adhik Mas, that's an extra month in the Hindu calendar, happens roughly every 3 years.
Okay.
There's also Papapamokini Ekadashi, for liberation from sins, as the name suggests. Vaishnava Ekadashi, a special day just focused on the worship of Lord Vishnu. And Mohini Ekadashi, which is believed to destroy delusion.
And some of these are considered particularly significant, right? Like standouts among the 24 or 26 throughout the year.
Exactly. There are a few that hold extra weight. Nirjala Ekadashi, which we just talked about, it's unique, observing just that one is said to yield the benefits of all the other Ekadashis combined.
Really? All of them?
That's the belief, yes. Then there's Parshwa Ekadashi, sometimes called Dev Shayani Ekadashi. This one marks the precise beginning of Chaturmas, a very significant 4-month holy period when Lord Vishnu is believed to rest.
Ah, the start of Chaturmas. Okay.
And finally, Devuthani Ekadashi. This one's highly auspicious because it signifies Lord Vishnu awakening from his cosmic sleep. And it's typically when auspicious activities like marriages resume after Chaturmas.
Got it.
You know, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's fascinating how this single practice has so many variations. It really speaks to a tradition that adapts rather than being totally rigid. These observances are deeply woven into the annual spiritual and social calendar, shaping rituals and life events.
That's a great insight, that adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
Given the commitment this observance entails, though, it raises a practical question. Do our sources mention any specific situations, or maybe health considerations, where someone might need to approach Ekadashi Vrat with caution? Or perhaps with more flexibility?
Yes, that's an important point, and our sources do address it. They mention, for instance, that widows or celibates shouldn't observe the desire-fulfilling ekadashis, like Kamada or Apara, particularly if those desires are specifically linked to, say, having children or getting married.
Okay, that makes sense.
And more broadly, if someone's health is very poor or if there are medical reasons preventing a full fast, well, the observance can still be maintained. You can do it by consuming only fruits that's known as falahar.
Falahar, right.
Or even simply through mental devotion, focusing the mind without undertaking the full physical fast. It really highlights that the spirit of the observance is paramount, even over the exact physical act sometimes.
Right, prioritizing health but keeping the devotion.
Yeah.
Okay. So for someone interested in understanding the sort of mechanics, what does a typical Ekadashi Vrat look like? According to our sources, what are the practical steps involved?
The sources lay out a pretty clear, simplified method. It actually begins the day before Ekadashi. On that day, one should consume sattvic food, that's pure, wholesome food, and then take a vow in the evening to observe the fast the next day.
So preparation is key.
Definitely. Then, on the actual Ekadashi day, it's customary to bathe during Brahma Muhurta, that's the auspicious pre-dawn hour, considered ideal for spiritual practices, and then perform worship of Lord Vishnu. The fast itself is observed throughout the day, either by consuming only fruits, the falahar we mentioned, or by undertaking a strict nirjala fast, meaning entirely without water.
Depending on the type of Ekadashi or personal capacity.
Exactly. And then at night, observers often engage in jagran, which means staying awake in devotion, and chanting Lord Hari's name, Harinam Sankirtan.
Staying awake all night.
Traditionally, yes, as part of the devotion. And then the fast is formally broken the following day, which is called Dwadashi. It has to be broken at a prescribed auspicious time, and that ritual is known as palana.
It sounds like a deeply structured yet profoundly devotional practice described in our sources. Really emphasizes preparation, purification, and that sustained devotion throughout. It gives you a real sense of the spiritual journey involved.
Wow. What an insightful deep dive we've taken today. We've journeyed through the rich mythology behind Ekadashi Vrat, understood its unique blend of spiritual and even physical benefits, explored the diversity of those 24 or 26 annual Ekadashis, and walked through the practical guidance for how it's observed. Hopefully you've now got a real handle on this ancient and profound practice.
Indeed. And as we often say, knowledge is most valuable when it's not just acquired, but truly understood, and perhaps even applied in some way. We hope this deep dive encourages you to reflect on the insights gleaned from these ancient practices. Absolutely. And to leave you with a thought to ponder. Considering this practice of Ekadashi Vrat, its ancient roots and its claimed benefits from detoxification all the way to spiritual liberation, what might a conscious pause or perhaps a structured act of self-discipline offer you in your own life? Maybe for greater peace or clarity. Something to think about. Thank you so much for joining us on this insightful deep dive.